Growing your own garlic at home is a great way to make sure you always have fresh garlic on hand. When you need it, you can use garlic as a flavor in your recipes if you trim off the greens regularly. It will be worth it once you have a bundle of fresh cloves. To learn how to plant, care for, and harvest garlic indoors, check out the steps below. So, we are going to watch about the growing garlic indoors, best containers, care instructions and more.
Method 1. Optimizing your container.
First is choose a container that is at least 8 inches, 20 centimeters, deep. The container needs to be deep enough to allow the roots to grow. Choose containers that are deep enough and wide enough to fit all of the cloves you want to plant. Step 2. Make sure the container has drainage holes at the bottom. Most plastic or terracotta pots and planting containers have drainage holes at the bottom. Check underneath the container to see if there are holes that will allow for drainage. If there aren't, you need to make them so the excess water can run off. Step 3. Fill the container with a soil-less potting mix to promote drainage. Garlic is highly susceptible to fungal root diseases. A soil-less potting mix will allow excess water to drain easily. Use vermiculite or perlite and mix in some coconut fibers or peat. Finally, water the potting mix in the container to help settle it down. Before you plant your garlic cloves in the container, give it a good watering so it can settle down. Use a watering can or fill a glass with about 8 fluid ounces, 240 milliliters of water.
Method 2. Planting the garlic cloves.
First is purchase organic garlic bulbs from a gardening store or online. Most garlic bulbs you see at your local supermarket have been chemically treated so they last longer. Buy your garlic bulbs from a local plant nursery, gardening store, or from an online retailer. Step 2. Break apart the bulb, but keep the husks on the cloves. Separate the cloves 1 to 2 days before you plant them. They'll dry out and won't be able to sprout if you break them apart earlier. Choose the largest cloves to plant because they will have the best chance of growing. Step 3. Make holes 2 to 3 inches, 5.1-7.6 centimeters deep and 5 inches, 13 centimeters, apart. Make the holes wide enough to fit the cloves. Use your finger or a stick to create a hole for each clove of garlic you plan to plant. Step 4. Bury the cloves so they're covered with 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters of potting mixture. Gently pat the potting mixture on top of the garlic to settle it down. Place 1 clove into each of the holes with the flat end facing down. Step 5. Place the container somewhere that gets 6 to 8 hours of sun. A south or west facing window that gets lots of sunlight will help your garlic grow and thrive. Set the container on near a windowsill so it's exposed to at least 6 hours of sunlight a day.
Finally, water.
Water the mixture regularly so it settles on top of the garlic cloves. The moisture will help the sprouts break through the protective husk of the cloves.
Method 3. Caring for garlic plants.
First is fertilize the garlic every 3 weeks with a liquid fertilizer. You can find organic liquid fertilizer at garden supply stores, at department stores, and online. Once a month or every 3 weeks is an adequate amount of time in between fertilizing.
Step 2. Keep the growing medium damp but not soaked.
In warm and sunny climates, you may need to water your garlic plants 2 to 3 times a week to keep them happy. Water them regularly, but don't oversaturate them. Add enough water until you can see the excess drain through the holes at the bottom of hay. Finally, look for pests on your plants and rodents nibbling on them. Mice can be attracted to the smell of the garlic plants, and may nibble on the green shoots, or even pull them out of the pot. Make a natural insecticide to get rid of pests on your garlic so they're still safe to consume.
Method 4. Harvesting the garlic greens and bulbs.
First is wait until the greens are about 6 inches, 15 centimeters, tall to harvest them. For the first 6 months, the garlic plant will keep growing green leaves. The longer you wait, the healthier the plant will be. You can eat the garlic greens once they've grown tall enough to harvest. Step 2. Cut the greens with scissors and leave 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters of growth. Cutting the green leaves also allows the garlic plant to put more energy into growing the bulb. Trim the greens at the base of the plant but leave enough growth so the plant can recover and continue to grow. Step 3. Chop up the greens and use them as a flavorful garnish. Use the fresh greens in soups to add a bit of garlicky goodness. Use a sharp knife to cut the greens into small pieces. Sprinkle freshly chopped greens on top of a finished dish. Finally, pull the cloves out of the container after 10 months and let them cure. After about 8 to 10 months, the green leaves will start to brown and die off. This means the garlic cloves are ready to be harvested. The cloves can take up to 2 weeks to fully cure, or dry.
We hope it is useful to you. Please subscribe to our channel to upskill yourself.